Okay, now let's talk about the feed that we feed the chicken and talk about the mouth of the chicken, which is the first part of gastrointestinal tract of chicken. Chickens are fed a corn as a energy feeds and soybean meal as a protein supplements. And we mix these two ingredients in addition to the vitamins and minerals and other feed additives to make mash form and pelletized form of complete diets. Chickens, they don't have a teeth, but they have a beak and they can pick up the feed and swallow. And chicken's saliva also contains digestive enzymes like amylase and lipase. For chickens, they are also eating the different form of feed called crumbles, which is broken form of the pellets. Okay, this time let's talk about gastrointestinal tract of chicken. This GI tract I obtained from a chicken at 6 weeks of age. So that bird's weighed about 2 kilograms. Okay. The first part here will be esophagus, coming from the mouth. And there's a structure called the crop. And this is where the feed will be stored. And after the crop, there's another part of esophagus connecting to proventriculus, which is the part of stomach for chicken. This proventriculus is also called glandular stomach, and this is where digestive enzymes will be secreted and the feed will be digested. The second part here is called the ventriculus, which is also called muscular stomach for chicken. And the feed will be physically digested. And after ventriculus, you can see that small intestine is connected here. The first part of small intestine is duodenum. But it is very easy to identify duodenum in the birds because birds has a structure called duodenal loop, which is surrounding the pancreas. You can see the pancreas in the middle of duodenum here. And after duodenum, you can see the jejunum, which is middle part of small intestine. And then later will be ileum. You can see the blood capillaries coming out of the jejunum, which can absorb the nutrient and deliver those nutrients to the liver. After small intestine, you can find the large intestine. And for the birds, they have two cecum called ceca right here. There are little fermentation occurs by microorganisms. But after the ceca, there's a colon and then cloaca. Cloaca is the cavity where the GI tract and urinary tract will meet together. And then after that, the undigested portion will be excreted. If I measure the size of whole tract of birds, it's about 30 centimeters. Okay, let's talk about gastrointestinal tract of a chicken. This time, we removed all the mesentery membrane and we separate all the guts so you can see the gastrointestinal tract from the mouth to the cloaca. Once chicken is ingest the feed, okay, it will travel through the esophagus, and the first feed will be stored in the crop. And then this feed will be further delivered to the stomach here. So there are two parts of esophagus here, before the crop and after the crop. As the feed enters the stomach, this first part of stomach is called proventriculus. This is where the hydrochloric acid and pepsinogen will be secreted. So this part of stomach, you can see that enzymatic digestion will start, and then you can see the remaining part of stomach is called the ventriculus, also called the gizzard. In this part, you can see a very strong muscles, which will physically grind the digesta or feed here inside. And after that, the digestive will travel further to small intestine. And as you see here, the first part of small intestine is called duodenum. For chickens, you can easily identify duodenum because it makes duodenal loop covering the pancreas. So in between the duodenum, you can see clearly that there's a pancreas. The pancreas will secrete bicarbonates and also digestive enzymes for the digestion of carbohydrates and protein and lipids. And then you can see the remaining parts of small intestine, which is mainly jejunum. In the middle part of small intestine, you can see a small button like here. It is called Meckel's diverticulum. And for the convenience, we say that the end of jejunum will be up to here. And from Meckel's diverticulum, you can see that this is the start of ileum. And digestion will be further traveling to the part of large intestine. As you see here, the chickens has a 2 ceca. And then there's a short colon. And then the last part is called cloaca. If you look at the size or length of small intestine and large intestine, you can measure and see how long they are. Starting from duodenum, you can measure the length of small intestine. If you add all up, you can see that it is almost 1.5 meters long. However, if you look at the length of large intestine, it's only about 12 centimeters. This time, we'll dissect chicken GI tract and see what's inside of GI tract. Let's go to the stomach of chicken. I'll try to open this stomach to show you how the digester look like, and also try to show you the inside of the stomach. It's very hard muscle, very thick and hard. Okay. As I open the stomach of chicken, you can see that the digesta in the stomach, and these are nicely digested, but still you can see that the particles of corn and some of soybean meals here. But this is the part where the proteins in the feed will start digested, and this digester will further move to small intestine and will be further digested. What if I take all the digester out? I have a clean stomach here. Okay. As you see the stomach of the chicken, as I mentioned before, this first part is called proventriculus, and the second part is ventriculus or gizzard. You can see the surface inside of the stomach is very clearly different between proventriculus and ventriculus. This proventriculus has a glandular surface where the hydrochloric acid and pepsinogen will be secreted. Whereas the surface of ventriculus, it is very different. You can see that a very hard lining, which will break down the digester or mix the digester with the enzymes secreted from proventriculus. This digester will further move down to small intestine, and I'll try to open a part of small intestine. Okay. It's very small and tiny here. Let's open the small intestine here. It's a part of jejunum here. As I open it, you can see the digester, which is looks more digested, and you don't see the particles of corn here anymore. That means that the feed are better digested in small intestine further digested compared with the stomach. And chicken has a very short colon here. Let's open and see how the digester look like. You can see that it is more digested and it's ready to be excreted.